an ex-ASSA assassin framed for brutal crimes, a relentless FBI agent hunting him down, but when they uncover a deadly conspiracy, they must become allies or die trying. Betrayal, revenge, and a final showdown that will change everything. This is Butcher. The city never sleeps, but in its darkest corners, it hides secrets that should never be uncovered. The rain poured heavily, washing away the blood that stained the cracked pavement of an empty alleyway. A lone figure moved through the darkness, his face hidden beneath the glow of flickering streetlights. Jack Slade, known only as the Butcher, was once the most feared assassin in the underworld. But now, he was a ghost, hunted, betrayed, and seeking answers. Across the city, in a high-tech FBI facility, Agent Frank Mason leaned over a glowing screen displaying Jack Slade's face. "He's not just another criminal," Mason muttered, watching security footage of Slade's last known appearance. The man had vanished for years, but now he was back, and bodies were dropping like flies. Mason had spent years taking down killers like Slade, but something about this case didn't add up. His gut told him there was more to the story. The first real lead came when Mason tracked a secret meeting between underground crime bosses. As he moved through the shadows, he wasn't the only one watching. Slade was already there, silent as death, waiting for the perfect moment. When gunfire erupted, Slade moved like a ghost, taking down enemies with precise, deadly efficiency. But before he could escape, he locked eyes with Mason. For a split second, they both hesitated. Then the chase began. Mason sprinted after Slade through the chaotic streets, dodging cars and gunfire. Slade leaped onto a moving truck, disappearing into the night. Mason cursed under his breath. This man wasn't just an assassin, he was a phantom. And yet, the way he moved, there was something about him that didn't scream cold-blooded killer. He had a purpose, and Mason needed to know what it was. As the investigation deepened, Mason discovered something that changed everything. Slade had once worked for a secret organization called the Crimson Order, a powerful syndicate controlling assassins worldwide. Years ago, he had tried to leave, but no one left the Crimson Order alive. They framed him for crimes he never committed, turning him into the world's most wanted man. Now he was back, not for revenge, but for the truth. Mason found himself questioning everything. If Slade wasn't the real enemy, then who was? He dug deeper and found a connection. Marcus Kane, a high-ranking government official with ties to the Crimson Order. Kane had spent years covering up assassinations, using Slade as a scapegoat, and now he was preparing to disappear, erasing every loose end, including Slade. The next time Slade and Mason crossed paths, it wasn't as enemies. It was a setup. They had both walked into a trap, ambushed by elite assassins sent to eliminate them. Forced to fight side by side, their skills combined in brutal, high-intensity combat. Slade was fast and precise, striking with deadly accuracy, while Mason used his brute strength to take down enemies with crushing force. By the end of the battle, bodies lay scattered around them, but the real fight had just begun. "You still think I'm the bad guy?" Slade growled, wiping blood from his face. Mason stared at him for a long moment. I think you're a problem, but maybe not the one I need to solve right now." With no one else to trust, they formed an uneasy alliance. Their goal was the same: take down Marcus Kane before he vanished forever. But Kane wasn't going down without a fight. His influence ran deep, and the closer they got, the more dangerous the game became. A high-speed chase through the neon-lit city put them face-to-face with Kane's top enforcers. Slade's muscle car roared through the streets, Mason firing from the passenger seat, while motorbikes and armored SUVs closed in. Explosions lit up the night as bullets tore through metal. Slade maneuvered with precision, outdriving their pursuers in a breathtaking sequence of destruction. When they finally escaped, they had only one lead left: Kane's final hideout. The last battle was set on a rooftop, high above the city skyline. The wind howled as helicopters circled overhead, their searchlights cutting through the darkness. Kane stood waiting, flanked by his last line of defense: elite assassins who would die before letting him fall. "You're too late," Kane smirked, his hand hovering over a detonator. "You think you can stop this? You think you can change what's already been set in motion?" Slade and Mason exchanged a glance. There was no room for hesitation. The battle erupted in a brutal display of hand-to-hand combat, gunfire, and relentless determination. Slade took down enemies with swift, lethal precision, while Mason fought like a wrecking ball, using sheer strength to overpower his foes. When the dust settled, Only Kane remained. Slade stood over him, his knife at Kane's throat. "Give me one reason why I shouldn't end this right now," he hissed. Kane chuckled, even as blood dripped from his lips. "Because you're not the monster they made you out to be." For a moment, everything was silent. Then Slade stepped back, lowering his weapon. He had spent years running, fighting, killing for the truth. But revenge wouldn't bring him peace. Without a word, he turned and disappeared into the shadows. Mason watched him go, knowing he would never see him again. The world would still call him the Butcher, but Mason knew the truth. Jack Slade wasn't a villain. He was something much worse. A man with unfinished business.